Hey guys, coming to you back from Emma's room. I couldn't let you not see her Barbie camper, right? So I've got all her little friends. There's her little Barbie camper house. Looks like we got Barbie and Skipper driving it around and all the unicorns. All right, so today we are going to be reading chapter 11, which is called The Attic. A pretty interesting discovery is made in this chapter in regards to the journal. I'm not going to tell you anything else because I don't want to give it away. All right, chapter 11, The Attic. Annabelle opened Auntie Sarah's journal and pointed to a page in it. I've read this much, she said to Tiffany. That's a lot. Tell me what's happening now. Well, this journal started early in 1955. I don't know whether Auntie Sarah kept other journals. I think maybe not. Why don't you think so? Asked Tiffany. Because at the beginning of this one, she wrote about regular things. You know, what she and our family did every day and what we did at night, what Catherine and her husband were like. Who's Catherine? Asked Tiffany. Grandma Catherine. She was very young in 1955, and she was about to give birth to Annie, Kate's mother. Oh, okay. Anyway, if Auntie Sarah had been keeping journals for a long time, why wouldn't she bother to write about that stuff? She wouldn't really need to. That's true. So what I think is that Auntie Sarah had been looking through the books on the shelves just as I had, and she found this blank book and decided to keep a journal. Since it was new to her, she wrote about general things at first, but after a while she began to write about other things. Like blending, suggested Tiffany. Yes, and about things that interested her. What kinds of things? Well, spiders, for one. Really? Spiders? Annabelle nodded. Nature in general, I guess. But how much nature could she find indoors? There wasn't even a cat in the house then. So Auntie Sarah mostly saw spiders and insects, and she seemed to like spiders quite a bit. She studied them and drew them. How did she study them? Asked Tiffany. She just observed them. She drew pictures of them and wrote all sorts of things about them, like what kinds of webs they spun and how big they were and what they ate. You know what I learned? That different spiders spin different kinds of webs. And Auntie Sarah wrote that not all spiders spin webs. Some catch their prey in other ways. I don't know whether Auntie Sarah ever saw any of those spiders, though. How would she know about them then? That's kind of what I was wondering. I think maybe she found a magazine article or a book about spiders. Or maybe she heard a radio program about them. There's a lot of other spider information in her journal things. Auntie Sarah wouldn't have been able to learn just by observing spiders. Well, like what? Like there are around 150,000 species of spiders, Tiffany raised her eyebrows. And all spiders are carnivores, Annabelle continued. Ew, said Tiffany. Spiders are not insects, they're arachnids. Insects have antennae and 6 legs, and spiders have no antenna and 8 legs. Also, most spiders have 8 eyes. Tiffany had edged closer to Annabelle. Show me some of the parts about spiders, she said. Annabelle flipped back through the journal. Here, she said, she's writing about spiders that spin orb webs and spiders that spin tangled webs, and spiders that make funnel webs. She even tried to draw pictures of the webs. She took the journal with her sometimes when she went exploring. Look, here's one of her drawings, see? She labeled some of the parts of the spider. The caption under Auntie Sarah's drawing read, Common Garden Spider. Garden spider? How would she know about garden spiders? Asked Tiffany. I don't know. Like I said, maybe she found a magazine or something. Do you remember your aunt talking about spiders? Okay, so I'm going to show you. This page is supposed to look like all the different sketches and drawings inside Auntie Sarah's journal. She's got some notes written down. She's got some pictures drawn. It's pretty interesting. Ugh, all things spiders. Do you remember your aunt talking about spiders? Annabelle shook her head. Well, maybe a few times. What I mostly remember is that she would tell me about explorers and scientists and pioneers and politicians. Mostly women who made a difference. I bet you remember those things because they interested you more than spiders do. Spiders scare me a little, admitted Annabelle. Maybe that's why your aunt didn't talk to you about spiders. She didn't want to scare you. Maybe, said Annabelle, but I think she just didn't want me to know about her explorations. Annabelle and Tiffany studied the picture of the common garden spider. Then Annabelle turned the page. Here's another drawing, she said. It's of a Annabelle paused. Look at those long words. It's a Tingeria delucia, the cobweb spider. Oh, it's so huge and hairy. But harmless, added Tiffany, peering at the journal. She turned to a page. Here's an araneomorph. Tiffany sounded out the word. Then she peered down at the faded writing on the page. It's a more advanced spider, she said. Look at all the parts, said Annabelle. Patella, trochanter, chalaria. I've seen lots of spiders, but I don't think they look like this. Annabelle read from the page opposite of the drawing. Arachnids have sense organs that... Do we really have to read all this stuff? Asked Tiffany. This stuff's boring, and it isn't going to help us find your aunt. Annabelle frowned. You never know what might be a clue, she said. But let's just skip to the end of the journal. Let's see what's on the last page. Annabelle hesitated. All right, she said at last. Tiffany took the book from Annabelle and opened to the last page. Hey, it's empty. Nothing's written on it. Probably because she disappeared. She didn't get to finish her journal. Here, look. Annabelle turned the page backwards until she came to one that has half filled. This is the end, she said. Is she still writing about spiders? It says, find a way into the attic. It starts here in the middle of a sentence, Annabelle pointed out. She continued reading. This is what Auntie Sarah has written. Needed time when humans would be away for a while. Over weekend, when they were gone for 3 days, made 2 trips to the attic. Timed them. Think I can get to attic, explore, and be back in just under 3 hours. Doesn't allow for much exploration, but it's something. Could even go to attic on a weekday morning if everyone is out and the attic door is open. If so, could go to attic several times a week. Annabelle stopped reading. Several times a week, she exclaimed. Heavens! She turned back to the diary. Could go for longer periods of time at night. Will attempt next trip tomorrow morning if possible. Good night, dear diary. That's the end of the journal? Asked Tiffany. That's the end. Well, she must be in the attic then. It's simple. Suddenly, Annabelle felt uncomfortable. Seems a little too simple, she said, frowning. What do you mean? Well, Auntie Sarah has been missing for decades, and all we had to do was find this journal and read the last page and... What? What? Asked Tiffany. Annabelle frowned harder than ever. I'm not sure. She turned back several pages of the journal, then she flipped to the last page again. She squinted at the writing. Tiffany, does this look like exactly the same writing to you? Exactly the same as what? As the writing at the beginning of the journal. Tiffany took the book from Annabelle. She opened it to the first page, studied the handwriting, then she turned to the middle, studied the writing there, then she took it to the last page. Annabelle, it doesn't look the same. But, how? Annabelle and Tiffany stared at each other. What would this mean? Tiffany finally asked. That it isn't Auntie Sarah's writing? And if it isn't, whose is it? Oh, it must be your aunt's writing, said Tiffany after a moment. Her hand was probably getting tired or something. Or maybe it's someone else's writing. Annabelle, are you playing a trick on me? Tiffany pulled away from Annabelle looking cross. This isn't very nice. I don't like having tricks played on me. No, honest, it isn't me. Then who could it be? A shiver ran down Annabelle's spine. I have no idea. Nobody even knows I found the journal. At least, I don't think anyone does. Have you kept it hidden? Yes, very well hidden. The whole time? The whole time. I bet Bobby found it. Maybe, but he couldn't have written in it. Why not? Have you ever seen Bobby's writing? He only writes with pencil, and he presses really hard and makes huge letters. Tiffany looked at the writing on the last page of the journal. It was dainty and thin and written in blue ink. I guess it's not Bobby's, she said. Let's see where the new writing begins. Annabelle and Tiffany turned to the second to last page of the journal. It begins here, said Annabelle, pointing to the bottom of the page. The last sentence in Auntie Sarah's handwriting says, the humans will be waking soon. Time to get ready for another day. Good night, dear diary. And then all that stuff about going to the attic was added. This is so weird, said Tiffany. Spooky, said Annabelle. Well, I don't know whose writing that is, said Tiffany, but I know something else. What? Cried Annabelle. Your aunt must be in the attic, and someone wants us to look for her there. Once again, Annabelle shivered. Even so, she looked squarely at Tiffany and said, All right. So we've just discovered that someone else has been writing in Auntie Sarah's journal. All that writing about the spiders and stuff was her handwriting, but then when they got to the section about the attic, it looked like someone else had been writing in it. So someone knows about the journal. Someone got the journal and started writing in it, and whoever that was is leaving them clues telling them to go search in the attic. There definitely could be spiders in the attic, so it's not a terrible place for her to be if she's exploring up there, but who do you think is writing in the journal? Who do you think is giving them the clues? Chapter 12 that we will start on Monday is The Dolls Go Visiting. So excited. Hope you guys have a fantastic weekend. Read. Remember, you can take AR quizzes on your iPad now. And I am doing Top 5 AR again on the newsletter. So let me know if you need anything. Miss you guys, and I'll be talking to you soon. Bye.